The Substance is a misogynistic movie. Is a sentence I read on this beautiful Monday morning. I've had already seen the movie and kinda wanted to write about it, but the acclaim I've seen for it online made me a little bit slow to do so. This tweet though, it uncovered to me a whole sea of people that not only disliked the movie, which is fair as all art is subjective, but watched it with their eyes closed and their ears plugged. Let's dive into the discourse and see if Coralie Fargeau really hates women as much as people think she does. The Substance tells the story of Elizabeth Sparkle, a former it girl, star of network TV fitness show, and currently a 50-year-old woman. We meet her on her birthday when, due to being too old, she gets fired. Struggling with bad self-image and a threat of being forgotten, Elizabeth decides to call a suspicious number that she found on a thumb drive left in her coat pocket and order the Substance, a miracle formula that is said to allow the person's younger, better and fitter self to emerge. That's how we meet Sue, our protagonist's older version. They now need to find balance, sharing their time equally and switching every 7 days without exception. Sue instantly gets the TV gig taken from Elizabeth and starts living her best life, getting new opportunities, new lovers, attending parties and generally enjoying her youth and beauty, all whilst Elizabeth spends her weeks at home, binge eating and watching TV. True to its horror classification, the movie doesn't spare us any gruesome details and imagery. We see tons of blood, organs spilling out, bodies splitting in half. The grossest of all though being the shrimp eating scene we are slapped with at the beginning of the movie. It's not a feel-good story about confronting your younger self and finding some sort of resolution. No, The Substance is a visceral embodiment of the beauty standards placed on women, about the obsessive need to be younger, fitter, better, no matter the morals or cost. It shows us how the need to fit in not only destroys relationships with others, but also poisons people's brains and fuels the self-hatred. I find it very telling that we start the movie off with the two main characters being almost tender with each other, existing in the same space, naked and in very close contact, only to end it with sequences of extreme violence, where one literally kicks the other to death. It's an extremely blatant message. I will kill my old self if it means getting what I want. This ruthlessness and lack of empathy is what I presume leads people to think the movie hates women. There is only one problem with that take. They are one. We are constantly reminded of this. It is there in the promotional video Elizabeth watches before ordering the Substance. It's repeated countless times by the Substance customer service agent. And beyond words, it's showcased in the parallel narrative and visual cues all throughout the movie. Sue and Elizabeth are one. This is the key to deciphering the message, though I'm using that word very generously. You don't have to decipher anything, it's spelled out for you in big block letters. The struggle between two women is actually a struggle that I'm sure is familiar to many. Seeing your older pictures, seeing times where you look younger and better and whatever you see most desirable, put that on steroids and you'll see what life Elizabeth has chosen for herself. She had to cohabit with a living and breathing reminder of her past success. It didn't matter that they share DNA, and it didn't matter that all that Sue was, Elizabeth lived through and experienced in the past as well. The truth of the matter was, Elizabeth's life has ended and Sue's has just begun. Is showing this misogynistic? Is exploring the deep and complicated relationship with your body and how it's perceived by others wrong? And mind you, the movie also includes a scene of Demi Moore, who's absolutely brilliant as Elizabeth, getting ready to go on a date, putting on a dress and doing her makeup, only to wipe and reapply everything, second guess herself and eventually break down, stay home and bail on her friend. It's not played for laughs. There's no gore or blood, Just the raising panic and disgust for your face and body, strong enough to throw away your plans and shut down. If anyone had doubts, this is a scene that should absolutely tell you what the substance is about. By using extremely gory images, it strips away the glossy surface of beauty in film industry, showing us what's underneath the top layer. The internal struggles, the desperation to fit in, it's never pretty. It's not pearly white teeth and smooth skin, but the monster we see towards the end. A grotesque hybrid of all the parts, even in its sorry state, trying to be accepted, beloved and admired, putting on a pretty dress and some nice jewelry. How is that hating women? How is this morally wrong to people? And at no point in the movie are we told to side with one of the characters. Personally, I found this conflict quite heartbreaking and sad. Even when the over-the-top special effects in the last act are meant to elicit a chuckle, I couldn't help but think about the hatred that Elizabeth and Sue had for each other. The same hatred that countless people feel towards others and themselves daily, based purely on how well they fit the current beauty standard. A nice detail, and another reason why I could never hate this movie, is that although both women fought and mistreated each other, Elizabeth seemed more dependent and almost forgiving towards Sue. Sure, she eventually ordered the termination kit, but even then she wasn't able to go through with it. It might be considered just desperation, as her life has ended and she needed a new reason to live. But I would like to think that Elizabeth, though partaking in the same social constructs, was a little bit wiser and kinder and a little bit more defiant. Sue had, of course, not reciprocated, hence completing the toxic cycle and eventually finding the same narrative end that Elizabeth had. Beyond the story, the movie features an amazing cast, fantastic leads, and great supporting Dennis Quaid that truly should get an award for his bombastic, ugly performance. It has great cinematography and juicy sound design. It's well crafted and thought out, drawing from many sources but avoiding becoming derivative. My only criticism would be a very minor pacing issues in the last act. Maybe some revision and re-edit would do the last 30 minutes of the movie some good. Otherwise, I had a blast in the cinema and would recommend seeing it. I understand that horror, especially very gory, is not everyone's cup of tea, and I also understand not liking a movie for whatever reason. But basing your negative opinion about the substance on its misogyny is like criticizing an orange for being spicy. It's not. And if you still think it is, please do let me know in the comments, because maybe we watched different movies. Either way, I came out of the theater not wanting but needing to see Coralie Forjot's entire filmography that sadly is just one another movie. And I thought that once again, horror just graces us with some of the best cinema in recent history, and may it continue to do so. Please let me know your thoughts about the substance, let me know if you think it's misogynistic or not, and I will catch you next time. See ya!